Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janamallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janamallabha Girivardhari. Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janamallabha Girivardhari. Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Raja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Janitago Premanandi. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astotara Sata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astotara Sata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Si Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Braj Bhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Yamunamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Sisi Radhakala Chanji Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Jainataya Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, which is entitled The Appearance of the Demon Ritrasura. We will... Maybe it's not where the bookmark is. I was told we'll start from text 46. Is that right? We finished on 30. Okay. All right. It's always good to get like curveball there at the end. So will we start with text 31? I didn't prepare that seriously. We'll just do our best. A little bit I prepared. Uh, so is there, I know, like, is there a specific verse that you want to focus on a certain purport? Or should we read, like, or the real question is, should I read Sanskrit for everything? Or should we read English? Is there a verse that you do want me to read Sanskrit for? All right. So text 31. The demigod said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are competent to give the results of sacrifice, and you are also the time factor that destroys all such results in due course. You are the one who releases the chakra to kill the demons. O Lord, who possesses many varieties of names, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. (32) O Supreme Controller, you control the three destinations: promotion to the heavenly planets, birth as a human being, and condemnation in hell. Yet your supreme abode is Vaikuntha Dham. Since we appeared after you created this cosmic manifestation, your activities are impossible for us to understand. We therefore have nothing to offer you but our humble obeisances. Let's look at the purport. An inexperienced man generally does not know what to beg from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is under the jurisdiction of the created material world, and no one knows what benediction to ask when praying to the Supreme Lord. People generally pray to be promoted to the heavenly planets because they have no information of Vaikuntha Loka. Srila Madhvacharya quotes the following verse: Deva lokat prachi lokat niryacha chapiyat param tishribhya paramam stanam vaishnavam vidusham gati. There are different planetary systems known as Devaloka, the planets of the demigods, Pitriloka, the planet of the Pitas, and Niraya, the hellish planets. When one transcends these various planetary systems and enters Vaikuntha Loka, he achieves the ultimate resort of the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas have nothing to do with other planetary systems. Anyway, we could just maybe say a few things about that. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulam Militam Yenam Tasmai Sri Gurave Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sirupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So you've probably all been following this better than me, but in this section of Bhagavatam, we are hearing from the demigods praying to the Lord because they're in a crisis. Indra offended his guru, Brihaspati. And so Brihaspati, as a way to chastise the demigods, to chastise Indra, he left from their association, leaving the demigods without a priest. And so they had to bring in a new priest, Vishvarup. Vishvarup was very qualified, but he was from mixed parentage. His father was a demigod, but his mother was a demon. And so it says when he was making the sacrifice, he would very loudly speak as though he's offering some portion of the sacrifice to the demigods, which they need to increase their piety and their power. But secretly, he was also giving some portion to the demons because he had some affiliation with them. That's like his mother's family. So when Indra understood that's what was happening, he killed Vishvarup. And the father of Vishvarup, does someone remember the father's name? It starts with a T. What's that? Tvashta. He was naturally became upset that his highly qualified son was killed by Indra. And so he wanted to create another son, and that son was the famous Vritrasura, the demon. And Vritrasura had extraordinary power that he couldn't be killed in any ordinary way, like just with killing him with a metal sword or with fire or with he had protection from ordinary weapons. So he was a very, very powerful demon, and he was very, very difficult to kill. And so now the demigods have this major problem on their hands of having a very, very threatening demon that is not an easy person to handle. Because he's got like some extra special shaktis. So the demigods are approaching the Lord to find a solution that the Lord can help, deal with Vritrasura. So I thought this is kind of a nice purport. It said, so the demigods, I think it was said in yesterday's class, the demigods are maybe not perfectly pure devotees. They're devotees, but they're in the material world. They still have some material needs, some material desire to be fulfilled. And even in this instance, they're not exactly approaching the Lord in a spirit of pure devotion. It's not they're approaching the Lord, please engage me in your service. I want to realize myself beyond the body. I want to attain self-realization so that I can selflessly serve in your eternal pastimes. They're approaching the Lord because their material situation is being badly threatened, and they need help with that. So Prabhupada's comment here, an inexperienced man generally does not know what to beg from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's true. Who has conceptions of who is the Lord? Who am I? What is pure devotional service, which is the connection that the soul has with the Lord? Who has that understanding? You can say, in one sense, this Krishna consciousness movement is meant to educate people how to approach the Lord in a mood of pure devotion. Jai. All of the great souls have come. You know, I should say something that I'm very humbled to be asked to give this Bhagavatam class. And I would like to beg all of your blessings that I can say something appropriate and useful for somebody today. I'm very humbled that you've all come. So they threw me a curveball in Antagaranga. I thought I was going to speak on a totally different section. Not a total, but like I thought I was going to speak on the next section. So I had things in my mind for that. So I'm just winging it. Srila Prabhupada says the ultimate resort of the Vaishnavas is Vaikuntha. I like that word, the resort. As the our understanding is, as the sons of God, we have the right to exist anywhere in His kingdom, material or spiritual. But the material world is not a resort. It's a place full of misery and suffering. I mean, what if Ritrasur is trying to kill you? Like, what a horrible calamity to have to face. But that's how it goes over here. Okay, text 33. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Narayan, O Vasudev, Original Person, O Most Exalted Person, Supreme Experience, Welfare Personified, O Supreme Benediction, Supremely Merciful and Changeless, O Support of the Cosmic Manifestation, Sole Proprietor of all planetary systems, Master of everything, and Husband of the Goddess of Fortune. Your Lordship is realized by the topmost sannyasis who wander about the world to preach Krishna consciousness, fully absorbed in samadhi through bhakti yoga. Because their minds are concentrated upon you, they can receive the conception of your personality in their fully purified hearts. When the darkness in their hearts is completely eradicated and you are revealed to them, the transcendental bliss they enjoy is the transcendental form of your Lordship. No one but such persons can realize you. Therefore, we simply offer you our respectful obeisances. So we can, I think yesterday we were saying, or Bhattahari Prabhu was saying, that the glory of the Bhagavatam, or one of the important glories of the Bhagavatam, is the stutis, the sections of prayers. Because, like it said in the last purport, people don't know how to approach the Lord. And so when you see these, how great personalities are approaching the Lord, it gives us guidance how to do that. So the Lord is being glorified in so many ways. Your Lordship is realized by the topmost sannyasis who wander about the world to preach Krishna consciousness, fully absorbed in samadhi through bhakti yoga. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that real sannyas is to attain samadhi, because that is the platform beyond material sense gratification. It's like in our devotional line, the stage of bhava is when one will attain samadhi. Like at the end of chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, tell me about the person who has attained samadhi. How does he sit? How does he walk? How does he speak? And Krishna goes on to say how such a person is completely transcendental to all kinds of sense gratification. Their senses are controlled, their mind is absorbed in the Lord, just like the tortoise. He can control when his limbs are outside of his shell, and he can retract them whenever needed. So the demigods are glorifying such great personalities who have transcended the modes of material nature, who have transcended the position of sense gratification. He's glorifying that those are our ideals, those are our acharyas. Like we have Srila Prabhupada, we have the other acharyas and our guru parampara. Those are our guiding lights to look to. Purport: the Supreme Personality of Godhead has numerous transcendental names pertaining to different grades of revelation, to various grades of devotees and transcendentalists. When he is realized in his impersonal form, he is called the Supreme Brahman. When realized as the Paramatma, he is called Antaryami. And when he expands himself in different forms for material creation, he is called Kshirodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Karnadakshai Vishnu. When he is realized as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradumna, and Aniruddha, the Chaturvyuha who are beyond the three forms of Vishnu, he is the Vaikuntha Narayan. Above realization of Narayan is realization of Baladev, and above that is realization of Krishna. All these realizations are possible when one engages fully in devotional service. The covered core of one's heart is then completely open to receiving and understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various forms. Text 34. O Lord, you need no support, and although you have no material body, you do not need cooperation from us. Since you are the cause of the cosmic manifestation and you supply its material ingredients without being transformed, you create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation by yourself. Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, these transcendental activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. I think Mataji was saying something about coming to the 10th canto yesterday in the question and answer. I forgot exactly what the point was, but it's true that that the Bhagavatam is systematically training us to be able to appreciate the Leelas of Krishna. Ultimately, we want the eternal service of Radha Kalachandji, but there's so much elevation of consciousness and elevation of our spiritual understanding that's required before we can properly appreciate that. Generally, the tendency is, like Gorkashore Das Babaji had a comment, we should not throw mud into transcendence. Generally, we have our material attachments, our material conceptions, and the tendency is to look at the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, to look at, pastimes like are depicted there, Krishna dancing with the gopis, to look at, the forms of Radha Kalachandji, and to think we can look at it kind of through our material conception. Oh, here's an exceptionally handsome, unlimitedly attractive young man who's enchanting the women of his town. And here's, the topmost beautiful, feminine ladies who are coming together to serve that handsome boy. And we think, I know about that. I get it. I get pretty girls, and that makes sense to me. But we should know that the pastimes of Krishna in the spiritual world, it is not Swargaloka. It is not like, some wonderful platform of heavenly enjoyment and sense gratification. It's actually an expression of the topmost selflessness, the topmost sacrifice, the topmost compassion. And so it's important that the Bhagavatam systematically educate us in those principles, that the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are completely transcendental. Like the Chaitanya Charitamrita says in several places, there's a difference between kama and prema. There's a difference between lust and love. And what we're experiencing on the material platform, on the platform of sense gratification, and like it says, there's a difference between iron and gold. You know, you can, maybe there's some like really valuable jewelry made out of gold. So someone that's expert, you can make, you know, like a perfect copy of like a ring with some ordinary metal and like put some gold coloring on it. And like, you know, someone who doesn't really have discrimination, you can look and think it's the same thing. But actually the quality is completely different. So, so before we can like properly appreciate who are Radha Kalachandji, what are their pastimes, we have to be edified of all of our materialistic conceptions. So when the demigods are praying like this, that the Lord is completely transcendental to material activity, that is very necessary, very fundamental part of the training that we're meant to get in Krishna consciousness, to be able to systematically approach the Lord in the way that we ultimately will want to relate to the Lord. Purport. Sorry, which was the purport, or which was the verse to especially focus on? Okay, we're getting there. The Brahma Samhita 537 says, Goloka eva nivast yakilitma bhuta, excuse me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is always situated in Goloka Vrindavan. It is also said, Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam nagachati. Krishna never goes even a step from Vrindavan. Nevertheless, although Krishna is situated in his own abode, Goloka Vrindavan, he is simultaneously all-pervading and is therefore present everywhere. This is very difficult for a conditioned soul to understand, but devotees can understand how Krishna, without undergoing any changes, can simultaneously be in his abode and be all-pervasive. The demigods are understood to be various limbs of the Supreme Lord's body, although the Supreme Lord has no material body and does not need anyone's help. He is spread everywhere. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Nevertheless, he is not present everywhere in his spiritual form. According to the Mayavad philosophy, the supreme truth, being all-pervasive, does not need a transcendental form. The Mayavadis suppose that since his form is distributed everywhere, he has no form. This is untrue. The Lord keeps his transcendental form, and at the same time he extends everywhere, in every nook and corner of the material creation. 35. These are our inquiries. The ordinary conditioned soul is subject to the material laws, and he thus receives the fruits of his actions. Does your lordship, like an ordinary human being, exist within this material world in a body produced by the material modes? Do you enjoy or suffer the good or bad results of actions under the influence of time, past work, and so forth? Or, on the contrary, are you present here only as a neutral witness who is self-sufficient, free from material desires, and always full of spiritual potency? We certainly cannot understand your actual position. $36. Does it mean I should not read every purport? Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all contradictions can be reconciled in you. O Lord, since you are the Supreme Person, the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities, the Supreme Controller, your unlimited glories are inconceivable to the conditioned souls. Many modern theologians argue about right and wrong without knowing what is actually right. Their arguments are always false and their judgments inconclusive because they have no authorized evidence with which to gain knowledge of you. Because their minds are agitated by scriptures containing false conclusions, they are unable to understand the truth concerning you. Furthermore, because of polluted eagerness to arrive at the right conclusion, their theories are incapable of revealing you, who are transcendental to their material conceptions. You are one without a second, and therefore in your contradictions, like doing and not doing, happiness and distress, are not contradictory. Your potency is so great that it can do and undo anything as you like. With the help of that potency, what is impossible for you? Since there is no duality in your constitutional position, you can do everything by the influence of your energy. So the modern theologians who are like just on a speculative platform will never have real access to the absolute truth. It reminds me of the story of there was this like a very scholarly person who came to meet Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he said, "I have many questions." And Bhaktisiddhanta said somehow that he engaged the man in like washing the pots or something for the temple. And then when he did that, he said, "Actually, now I understood all the answers to what I wanted to ask you." So on the platform of like speculation, you can never come to real conclusive, you can never come to real conclusions about the Lord. A rope causes fear for a bewildered person who considers it a snake, but not for a person with proper intelligence who knows it to be only a rope. Similarly, you, as the supersoul in everyone's heart, inspire fear or fearlessness according to one's intelligence, but in you there is no duality. With deliberation, one will see that the Supreme Soul, although manifested in different ways, is actually the basic principle of everything. The total material energy is the cause of the material manifestation, but the material energy is caused by him. Therefore, he is the cause of all causes, the manifester of intelligence and the senses. He is perceived as the supersoul of everything. Without him, everything would be dead. You, as that supersoul, the supreme controller, are the only one remaining. 39. Therefore, O killer of the Madhu demon, incessant transcendental bliss flows in the minds of those who have even once tasted but a drop of the nectar from the ocean of your glories. So is incessant transcendental bliss flowing in anyone's mind? If not, we might question if we have even tasted a drop of the nectar of the Lord's glories. Such exalted devotees forget the tiny reflection of so-called material happiness produced from the material senses of sight and sound. Free from all desires, such devotees are the real friends of all living entities. Offering their minds unto you and enjoying transcendental bliss, they are expert in achieving the real goal of life. O Lord, you are the sole and dear friend of such devotees who never need return to this material world. How could they give up engagement in your devotional service? Let's read that purport. Although non-devotees, because of their meager knowledge and speculative habits, cannot understand the real nature of the Lord, a devotee who has once tasted the nectar from the Lord's lotus feet can realize what transcendental pleasure there is in the Lord's devotional service. A devotee knows that simply by rendering service to the Lord, he serves everyone. Therefore, devotees are real friends to all living entities. Only a pure devotee can preach the glories of the Lord for the benefit of all conditioned souls. Just in my own kind of personal study and meditation, I've been thinking about the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. In the Sanatan Shiksha and the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj lists the 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. And it's very powerful because it gives an image of, what is our ideal? Who are we trying to be? What does it mean? What does it look like to be detached from sense gratification and fully surrendered on the Lord? The first quality, does anyone know these? First quality is he is very kind to everyone. Like, sometimes you see like, what a nice devotee. That's a quality of a Vaishnava. It should be kind. If someone struggles with that, I struggle to be kind with others, there must be some kind of anger, some kind of lust, some kind of envy somewhere that needs to be worked on. Otherwise, we should be kind to everyone. The second quality, it says, he does not make anyone his enemy. So with some people, it's so easy to be friendly, but some people, it can be a real challenge. And some people even might like really disturb us, annoy us, rub us the wrong way. Still, a Vaishnav should not I should not make anyone my enemy. I should be careful in my dealings with others that I don't make any enemies. The third is he is truthful, which means, sometimes I may have to, usually we lie to like cover a fault or save our reputation, save face somewhere. Truthful means I'm detached from that. Just I should speak the truth. Even I made a mistake, I should admit that. It says, he is equal to everyone. So on the platform of like a materialistic platform, I favor somebody, this one I don't like him. He's in my group, he's not in my group. But Vaishnava is equal to everyone. It says, no one can find any fault in him. No one can find any fault in him. It says he's magnanimous, the sixth quality. Vaishnava is magnanimous. It means that even someone has spoken ill of me, they've done me wrong, still, I won't like harshly discriminate against that person. Still, I'd prefer to be on good terms with that person. That's what magnanimous means. He is mild, so someone is like kind of real passionate, aggressive, may indicate some material tinge. Someone who's mild, that's Vaishnava, is mild. We can, when looking at qualities of Vaishnava, you can consider like the personalities, like Srila Prabhupada, like other great saints, other great acharyas, and you'll look how those qualities are manifesting in these personalities. The eighth quality is he is always clean. A Vaishnava is always clean. My wife said, "Yeah, you should study that one." I should study that one. Vaishnava is without material possessions, whether it means like the Tyagis, the renunciates, they may literally have no material possessions. That's a very powerful, very inspiring example. Or like, the Grihastas, it means like thinking like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like Manasa Deho Geho Yokachumor. My mind, my body, my family, whatever I might consider mine, I offer that to you. All these things belong to the Lord. Vaishnava is without possessions. Um, it says he works for everyone's benefit. Vaishnava works for everyone's benefit. Generally, I'm just working for my benefit. How am I going to survive? How am I going to make it? How am I going to get the things that I need to enjoy? You know, even a little bit. I should get my slice of pie somewhere. I should get my, I should be able to satisfy my tongue and other senses. But Vaishnav works for everyone's benefit. In other words, and Vaishnav can understand what is the real benefit, what is the real necessity of everybody. Spiritual advancement, Krishna consciousness. Vaishnav is very peaceful. So, you know, a little bit if I say something against you, you know, or you say something a little against me, then I become like irritated. How could you say that? I can't believe you said that, you know? No, Vaishnav is peaceful. It can tolerate all kinds of adversity, tribulation, disturbance. He's always surrendered to Krishna. Vaishnav is always surrendered to Krishna. That's the 12th quality. Vaishnav has no material desires. He is very meek. Krishna. You know, like we fold our hands. At least we play a little bit meek, but he is steady. He is steady. I had one senior devotee I had long friendly relationship with was a devotee named Bhubaneshwar Prabhu. He was the Raj Bhog cook at the Krishna Balaram Mandir for decades. And I would associate with him because I would go read to him. And he was unbelievably fixed and steady in his schedule, attending the temple programs, doing his service, hearing Shastra, you know, reading with devotees. And he told me at one point, it's very difficult to find a devotee that can do the same service day after day for years and years and years. But that was the incredible example he showed. I mean, he was like absolutely fixed. So Vaishnav is steady, having that quality. Vaishnav controls their senses. It's so difficult. Vaishnav controls their senses. Vaishnav does not eat more than required. There was one senior devotee, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He said he wasn't initiated in the first batch, but he was initiated in the second batch of Srila Prabhupada's first disciples at 26 2nd Avenue. And he said one day Srila Prabhupada was speaking to us, and he said, you should eat as little as possible. And the devotee said, wait, but Prabhupada, before you told us that, you know, we should eat until we waddle like a duck. You know, we should eat to like the limits. And then he said, Prabhupada laughed, and he said, he said, how can we understand this? First you said we should eat so much, and now you're saying we should eat as little as possible. How can we understand? This is very confusing. You know, please explain it. And Prabhupada just laughed and said, when I told you to eat a lot, you didn't have any questions. Vaishnav is not influenced by the illusory energy of the Lord. Eating is such a practical time every day when we can kind of take our own temperature of how much we're attached to just serving our own senses. Like Ayendra Prabhu was preaching, you know, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta said that person that takes the Mahaprasadam in a mood of sense gratification, he will have to take birth again and again to enjoy the Mahaprasadam. You know, the Mahaprasadam is not meant for our sense gratification. It's meant to be honored as a service. So what does that mean? It means like in the prayers that we, you know, Sarita Vijajal, we should remember Gornitai, and we should be thinking, I'm the Lord's servant, and the Lord has mercifully given me this Mahaprasadam. Let me take whatever little Mahaprashadam I need to nourish my body so that I can continue on with my service. Generally, people are eating in a mood that I need to be nourished so that I can continue my life of sense gratification. So I can have the nourishment, so I can work hard and earn money and get the things that I need to have an opulent, nice life. Devotees should think exactly the opposite. So what's the mood of a Vaishnava? And we should be a little detached, like we have, like in the example of Raghunath Das Goswami. I used to remember the verse, but there's, you remember from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was becoming like more and more progressively detached, eating from like just by begging, and then he took from like the food distribution center, and then he was like just like washing the discarded rice, and then later in Vrindavan, he was famous that he would just eat like a little palm full of buttermilk. So it was like unbelievable austerity. And he quoted this super harsh verse that said something like, a person who has understood about Lord Krishna has gained everything. Why should such a person continue to maintain his body very carefully like a prostitute? Something like that. So, anyway, excuse me. So so Vaishnav eats very little. The Vaishnav offers respects to everyone. Oh my God, is it already 8:35? I'm so sorry. We didn't even get to. He offers respects to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. Vaishnav is very grave. Vaishnav is merciful. Vaishnav is friendly. Vaishnav is poetic. Vaishnav is expert. And Vaishnav is silent. Hey, did you hear about the election? This guy's, Vaishnav doesn't have too much to say about that. Okay, sorry, text 40. Please excuse me, we should do questions too. O Lord, O Lord, O personified three worlds, Father of the three worlds, O strength of the three worlds, in the form of the Vamana incarnation, O three-eyed form of Nrsingadev, O most beautiful person within the three worlds, everything and everyone, including human beings and even the Daitya demons and the Danavas, is but an expansion of your energy. O supremely powerful one, you have always appeared in your forms as the various incarnations to punish the demons as soon as they become very powerful. You appear as Lord Vamanadev, Lord Ram, and Lord Krishna. You appear sometimes as an animal like Lord Boar, sometimes a mixed incarnation like Lord Nrsingadev and Lord Hayagriva, and sometimes an aquatic like Lord Fish and Lord Tortoise. Assuming such various forms, you have always punished the demons and Danavas. We therefore pray that your lordship appear today as another incarnation, if you so desire, to kill the great demon Vritrasura. Purport: there are two kinds of devotees known as Sakam and Akam. Pure devotees are Akam, whereas devotees in the upper planetary systems, such as the demigods, are called Sakam because they still want to enjoy material opulence. Because of their pious activities, the Sakam devotees are promoted to the higher planetary systems, but at heart, they still desire to lord it over the material resources. The Sakam devotees are sometimes disturbed by the demons and Rakshasas, but the Lord is so kind that he always saves them by appearing as an incarnation. The Lord's incarnations are so powerful that Lord Vamanadev covered the entire universe with 2 steps and therefore had no place for his 3rd step. The Lord is called Trivikram because he showed his strength by delivering the entire universe with merely 3 steps. The difference between Sakam and Akam devotees is that when Sakam devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Whereas Akam devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits. Even if an Akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agrees to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. Man, this is so heavy. Sakam devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty, but they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of the Lord. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-8, Tatenu kampam susamikshamano bhujana evatam kritam vipakam. Ridvag vapur bir vidhadam namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. Even while suffering in the midst of difficulties, devotees simply offer their prayers and service more enthusiastically. In this way, they become firmly fixed in devotional service and eligible to return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Sakam devotees, of course, achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. It is to be noted herein that Lord Vishnu, in his various incarnations, is always the protector of his devotees. Srila Madhvacharya says, Vividam bhava patravat sarve vishnor vibhutaya. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All the other incarnations proceed from Lord Vishnu. So, the Bhagavatam is showing all kinds of grades of devotees. Like in Sanatana Goswami's Briha Bhagavatamrita, it shows the same principle, how very systematically Narada Muni, Gopakumar are experiencing different realms, are meeting devotees of different calibers. So like even we understand, devotees, there's different stages in the progress of devotional service. And there may be like so many substandard manifestations of devotion mixed with some material tinge. Like here, Prabhupada just said the distinction is, everybody's facing difficulty in the material world, and the difference between the Sakam and the Akam devotees is the Sakam devotees will go to the Lord to ask for help with that, but the Akam devotees don't. The Akam devotees just tolerate. Right. So, like that, the Bhagavatam wants to refine us more and more and more. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has the verse, Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhakti rahaitu ki tvayi. I have no desire for wealth. I have no desire for followers. I have no desire for beautiful women. I just want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. One senior devotee friend of mine, he said, just like when you go to the airport, they have the security check. You like you have the carry-on luggage. There can't be any liquids. You can't have any sharp objects. You can't have any weapons. There's all kinds of restrictions. It's a big list. Is there anything like this in your bag, sir? No, there's nothing like that in my bag. They're gonna check. They're gonna check. And when you get scanned, they're gonna scan your body. They're gonna scan all your baggage. Like, nope, like this guy, this guy's not fit to fly. So if we want to, enter the pastimes of the Lord, there's going to be a security check. Any desire for wealth, any desire for women, any desire for followers, they're going to scan you, and you're not going to enter the inner chambers of the temple of the Lord. We're going to have to stay at some distance until we're able to renounce those desires for sense gratification. And until we can legitimately pass that kind of security check, we won't really be able to enter into what is the service of Radha Kalachandji. That's where the Bhagavatam wants to train us to go. Anyway, please forgive me for speaking too long and speaking a little bit all over the place. If anyone has any comments, questions, thoughts, something to say.